Hi, everybody. I'm Coach Billy Bryant. I'm the head coach for the Kids on Ice Learn to Play Hockey program at Fort DuPont. And today we are going to make dinner and dessert. Our dinner will be a sweet potato and Brussels sprout hash, and our dessert will be a lemon icebox cake. The icebox cake is no bake, and so it's really kid friendly. So everybody should enjoy making this and eating it. So we'll start with dessert first. Start over here. This has to chill in the fridge for a couple hours, so that's why we're going to start this before the dinner. So lemon icebox cake. The first thing we're going to start out with is our base layer, which are graham crackers. I have our graham crackers here in a 9x13 baking pan, and we're going to line the bottom with the graham crackers. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that everything's covered on the bottom. Don't worry about if any crackers are broken or anything like that. Just get it all covered. Almost done here. All right, that's our first layer. Next, we're gonna make the filling for the icebox cake. And it's very simple, only a few ingredients. Our first ingredient here will be a cup of powdered sugar. I'll add that to the bowl. Our next ingredient is an 8-ounce package of cream cheese. So we'll add that. Probably should have opened this before we started, but it's all right. We'll get that in there. Note that you should probably let this sit out and get soft before you start this process. All right. And last, 1 cup of whipped topping or whipped cream. We're going to use a cup, and then we're going to save the rest for the end. So I'm going to grab a cup here. About a cup right there. And we'll get that into the bowl. And then we're going to mix this as our first layer. Actually, let me get a little room here. May take a little bit, especially if your cream cheese isn't as soft as you would like it. I'll confess, this is actually my first time making this, but I've had it plenty of times and I always remember it being really good. And I was always told it was really easy to make, so here we go. All right, there we go. Looks almost like marshmallow. Now, we're going to very carefully spread this on the first layer of graham crackers. You don't want to break up your graham crackers too much. So I'm going to put out a couple of big globs here and then we'll spread it around. All right, there we go. Gotta spread this around. The graham crackers are going to be loose, so you just have to gently spread it and make sure you get it spread around to all sides. If you want more filling, You can do 2 cups of everything. That'll probably work as well. Oh, a little graham cracker came up. That's okay. All right. Next, I'm gonna put this right here on my cutting board. Another layer of graham cracker. Almost like dealing cards here. All right, we got our second layer of graham cracker. Now comes either lemon pie filling or lemon curd. I'm gonna use lemon curd, and the reason being is this is what was available in the grocery store. It says a container, it says pie filling can. I know a lot of cans are about 12, 13 ounces. This is about 10, so I bought 2 just in case, but we'll see how it goes here. So I'm gonna take my spoon and we're gonna spread the lemon curd. I'll get it out in some big globs first, and we'll spread it around. Yeah, I think we might need both 2 containers here. All right. We're gonna spread this lemon curd around. Trying to keep the graham crackers in place. Yeah, we're definitely gonna need 2. I'll open our second container here. Again, this will all work better if this is all room temperature. Just keep spreading it around so you can get as even as possible. There we go. All right. So now we've got our lemon curd. 1 more layer of graham cracker. All right, there's our last layer. And then the last topping, or the top part will be the rest of the whipped topping. So we'll take this here, and I'm gonna go back to our spatula. Spread this around. There we go. Everything's covered. Ready for the icebox or the refrigerator. The last thing we'll do here, and I just thought this would be cool, is we're gonna do a little lemon zest. I got a little micro planer here and a lemon, and I'm just gonna scrape along the top of this lemon, not to go too far down into the peel. Collecting all of that yummy lemon zest. It'll go well with the curd. There we go. And I'm just gonna sprinkle this on the top. You know what, we'll do one more lemon to be safe here. Just gently across the top. Not going too deep. Once it turns white, move on to a different area, move back to the yellow area. All right, there we go. We'll kind of tap that in also. All right, so now this is ready to go into the icebox. Supposed to chill for about 2 or 3 hours, and then it's ready to cut and eat. We'll check it out in a little bit. All right, so now we're gonna make dinner. This is the sweet potato and Brussels sprout hash. So first we're gonna start with prepping all of the vegetables to go in the dish. I have sweet potato, red onion, and Brussels sprouts, and all of our seasonings here. So first I'll start with the Brussels sprouts. These have already been washed. I'm gonna show you how to cut them here. The key is to try to cut everything to the same size so that it cooks evenly. I'll cut the end off, and I'm gonna cut them in half. They're all pretty big. I'll leave them in half for now. If I come across any other different sizes, I'll make an adjustment. But I'm just gonna keep going through here and cutting them in half. Make sure you put the ends to the side so you don't accidentally get them in the dish. They don't taste good. I don't know if you've ever seen a Brussels sprout when they come in the store or when they're fresh. They don't come individually like this. They come on a stalk and it looks like some alien weapon or something. It's really strange, but if you ever get a chance to check them out in the grocery store. So most of these are about the same size. I'm gonna keep cutting them in half. The larger ones I may cut into fourths just to make it more even. Brussels sprouts actually get their name because they originated in Brussels. I learned that 5 hours ago. Never do that. All right, so we finished our Brussels sprouts here. Let's get rid of these butt ends. Put these back in a bowl so I have some room. And next, we're gonna cut the sweet potato. I have one here already washed and peeled. Usually what I do is just cut them down the middle. This is what I do. I don't know if it's the best way, but this is what I do. Then I'll cut them down the middle again. And then I'll cut those wedges. And I'll just keep cutting till I get even wedges. Try to get them similar size like the Brussels sprouts. And then you can kind of bunch a few together and start to cut them into chunks. Got my second one here. I keep looking back at my pan here. I'm going to use this skillet. I'm just trying to gauge how much food I need to put in there. This has already been washed. Just take a peeler and go to town. Last item to cut, red onion. You can use any onion. I use red onion just because I like the way it looks with all the colors. Cut the ends off. And what I like to do is to cut it with the spirals in there, and so I can get kind of long strips of onions and have a different shape other than the Brussels sprouts and the sweet potato. So what I'll do here, just kind of, slice it in rounds like that. Oh, be careful there. And then you can kind of stack them up like this and cut them into fours. And then you're done. That's pretty much it right there. Easy way, I got this part right here, I'll finish that. Easy way to cut an onion. So Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, red onion. We are going to get this in the skillet. You want to get it at about medium-high heat. We'll let that warm up a little bit. And you're also going to put it in the oven for a little bit at one point, so I'll get that going, get that preheated to about 425. All this we're going to put in this cast iron skillet when it gets a little warmer. Drizzle some olive oil. And we're going to add our seasonings here, and I'll show you in 1 second. So the first step, you can use olive oil, you can use canola oil, vegetable oil. You want to get just a thin little layer on the bottom, like so. Oh, there we go. So we'll get that thin layer going on the bottom. We'll do a little bit on top just so everything gets coated. And then we'll season. So here I got my Brussels sprouts. Last item to cut, red onion. You can use any onion. I use red onion just because I like the way it looks with all the colors. Cut the ends off. And what I like to do is to cut it with the spirals in there, and so I can get kind of long strips of onions and have a different shape other than the Brussels sprouts and the sweet potato. So what I'll do here, just kind of, slice it in rounds like that. And then you can kind of stack them up like this and cut them into fours. And then you're done. So Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, red onion. We are going to get this in the skillet. You want to get it at about medium-high heat. Let that warm up a little bit. And you're also going to put it in the oven for a little bit at one point, so I'll get that going, get that preheated to about 425. All this we're going to put in this cast iron skillet when it gets a little warmer. Drizzle some olive oil, and we're going to add our seasonings here, and I'll show you in 1 second. So the first step, you can use olive oil, you can use canola oil, vegetable oil. You want to get just a thin little layer on the bottom, like so. Oh, there we go. So we'll get that thin layer going on the bottom. We'll do a little bit on top just so everything gets coated, and then we'll season. All right, so now we're going to get all our ingredients into the pan. Got our Brussels sprouts here. Be careful, this might pop a little bit. There we go. And it is popping a little bit. Next, we're going to get our sweet potatoes and our onions in. But that's a lot in that pan there, but it'll be fine. Just take a little longer to cook. A little more olive oil, just to give a little drizzle, get everything coated. Not too much. And we're going to go to our seasonings here. Our first one, this is just garlic powder, salt and pepper. And you can season to taste. Just sprinkle liberally over all the vegetables. This is a no salt seasoning. This is one of my favorites. I actually get it from Costco. It has like 20 different things, and it's like oregano, orange peel, garlic, cumin. It has all these different spices, and it tastes really good on a lot of different things. I'm going to use a lot of this. And there's no salt in this, so don't be scared. And you don't have to use this. This is just one of my favorite things to use. Paprika. Because paprika has kind of a smoky taste to it. I like that smoky taste, and adds a little color. So you're just going to sprinkle a little bit on top. Maybe about 2 tablespoons. Alright. Now that we've done that, we're going to give everything a big stir. And you're going to keep stirring this until it's cooked about 3/4 of the way through. I use a cast iron skillet because, I don't know, it just gets things really brown. Heats up quick. Sometimes if you use a non-stick skillet, you don't get the brown or the, what do you call it, caramelization on all your vegetables. So just kind of keep stirring this around. Now, I obviously didn't come up with this dish, but I was looking for something that was like really satisfying and kind of gave you a good warm feeling, but that maybe didn't have a lot of the fat and some of the other bad things that we can find in comfort food. I mean, you do have some oil in this. It's not, I'm not saying it's the most healthiest dish in the world, but most healthy dish in the world, but it's on the healthier side. So going to keep stirring this. Make sure every piece gets coated. I'm actually going to add just a little more oil. And you can use, a lot of people like to use ghee as well. That's okay. We've done that. I just happen not to have any right now. That works well with this. And when this is 3/4 of the way done, we're going to put it in the oven. And I'm going to actually drop eggs on top. And those eggs are going to cook for about 7 minutes in the oven. If you don't like eggs, you could always mix in like ground chicken or pork or ground sausage. We've actually had this with grilled shrimp, which is really good. You could cut up a steak in here. You could do a lot of things with this. Or you could have it as a side and just have it with whatever else you're having for dinner. Rotisserie chicken, anything like that. And keep stirring here. Oh, this smells so good. This is my wife Fatima. She loves this dish. And it feels maybe it might be kind of like a fall or winter dish, but so you have this with a piece of fish in the summertime, it's delicious. Lost somebody there. So we're probably going to cook this for another 10 minutes or so. You want to get it, you don't want any crunchy vegetables in this dish. You don't want them mushy, but you definitely don't want them crunchy, especially not the sweet potato. A lot of protein in this dish, especially if you add eggs or some other type of meat. The Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes have a good amount of protein. For those of you looking for that. And I'll let that sit for a few minutes. Icebox cakes, our Icebox cake is chilling in the fridge. I think that's going to be really good. Fatima and I tasted a little bit from the bowl, and if that's an indication, it's going to be delicious. So can't wait. Now in a few minutes, we're going to put this in the oven, so you want to make sure you got your oven going at this point. My oven, I think a good temperature is about 425. You may have to play around with your oven temperature for a little bit. If you already roast vegetables, use whatever temperature you roast vegetables on. The other reason I use a cast iron skillet is because this can go right into the oven. So I don't have to transfer it to another dish. Although this weighs like 50 pounds, put it in the oven and you're good to go. Just a few more minutes. Another thing you can play with is adding other vegetables. You can maybe add some cherry tomatoes in here, maybe some squash or zucchini. That might be good. You can play around with it, see what you might like. If you don't like Brussels sprouts, you can use a lot of different things. I just happen to love Brussels sprouts. Moving along here. Just a few more minutes before it goes into the oven. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to watch it up here, you have other things to do. You could start this and put it in the oven sooner. You just would kind of need to stir it halfway through the process. And don't put the eggs in until it's almost ready. Yeah, there's different ways to cook it, so this is the way I prefer. Alright, things are getting brown here. So now, because I had so much in the pan, I'm going to put this in the oven for about 15-20 minutes before I put the eggs in, and that's to help it finish cooking. I had so much in there, I think I got excited because this is the first time I've recorded my own cooking show. So right now we're going to put it in the oven. I have my mitts here. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in college, I one time tripped over a hot oven door and broke the door off the hinges. So I'm always very careful around the oven door now. Also burned my hind parts in the process. That goes in the oven just like that. And we'll let that sit in there for, 10-15 minutes or so. And let that get nice and toasty. And then right at the end, we'll take our farm fresh eggs. I'm kidding. These eggs are just whatever I could find in the grocery store right now. But these are the eggs we're going to use to put on top. Cooking them at about 7 minutes makes the inside of the egg maybe gooey, and it will run, but it won't be like too loose. It won't run all over the place, but it will be gooey. If you like your eggs a little more cooked, maybe leave it in there for a few minutes longer. But I like breaking open the egg and letting it run all over the food. That's one of my favorite parts. Okay, so now we've pulled it out of the oven. As you can see, it's nice and brown. Everything's cooked. We're going to put it back in the oven after I add our eggs. And it's really easy to add the eggs, so what you're going to do is you're just going to make just like a few little divots so you know where to place your eggs. I got my eggs right here. I'm just going to crack one at each little place that I made. There's one. I know this may look a little strange, but trust me, it's delicious. And our last one right here. Now, this is going to go back in the oven for about 7 minutes. And that 7 minutes, those eggs will cook to about medium. So, back in the oven. 7 minutes we'll wait. On those 7 minutes, this is a one bowl or one pot dish, so meaning, all you need are a few bowls, spoon or a fork, and you're good to go. So I got 2 bowls here. And it's almost time to eat. Set my timer. Probably 45 seconds has gone by, right? So we'll do 6 minutes. And we'll check it in a few minutes. Like I said, you don't have to use eggs if you don't like eggs. One of my favorites is sometimes I'll take a steak and cut it up, dice it up, and put it with this dish. It's really good. Any type of like white fish, you can have this as a side and have like, I don't know, perch. I love perch. Perch, flounder goes really well with it. Ground chicken. A lot of things other than the egg will go with this. Or you could just have, if you really wanted to be clean, you could just have the Brussels sprouts and the sweet potato. But I like to add other stuff to it. All right, so now it's been in the oven for about 7 minutes with the eggs in there. It should be about ready now. And it'll cook a little bit when it comes out as well. So we're gonna take this out of the oven. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks good. All right, look at that. Oops. Delicious. So we'll let that sit just for about a minute. It's still kind of cooking the egg. You don't want to overcook the egg, so you take it out of this time. While you let it sit, it'll get a little more firm. And then the best thing to use to get this out, we'll use a spatula here. And this is so you don't break your egg getting it out of the pan. So we'll take a bowl here. And I think I like this spot right here. And just grab yourself a mound of hash. Put it in the bowl there. Yeah, I'll grab a little more. There we go. And there you have it. Sweet potato, Brussels sprout hash. All right, it's dessert time. I can't wait. This is my first time making this, so I'm pretty excited. And I'm also still a little hungry, so let's get to it. We're gonna grab it out of the fridge. It's been in here for about 3 hours. Oh man, that looks good. So here it is, the lemon icebox cake. Let's dig in here and see how it goes. See, I'll start here. Still has some crunch to it, some texture. Looks like maybe I need to get a little more right there. Not bad, not bad. And there you have it, lemon icebox cake. I'm sure it's gonna be good because the bowl was good. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it.